Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we all know that Washington is a shithole piece of crap place, so is Washington, D.C., but I digress. Washington is also allowing kids, get castrated, etc., at the age of 13 and onwards, and, of course, we have lunatics that believe in that stuff and that think that's okay. However, this has really been proven, which Tucker has asked a person about this, and that has been proven. So we'll show that clip, and then we'll also show a clip to where Marie Perez is essentially agreeing with this, and of course she gets shouted down at. More to come after we see this video. Take a look.
In Washington State allows castration of teenagers without parental consent. Something that's unimaginable even 18 months ago is now the law. Jason Rance is a Seattle radio host. He's watched this happen. In fact, he broke this story. He joins us tonight. Jason, thanks a lot for digging this up and telling us about it. So give us the outline of this law.
Yeah, so it's actually a combination of 3 laws. Right now, if you're as young as 13 years old, you can start the process of gender reassignment and not have to tell your parents. Now, the first law gives 13 to 17-year-olds the right to mental health treatment without parental consent. The second law forces insurance companies to cover gender dysmorphia or so-called gender-affirming care for that same age group, 13 to 17 years old. It also, however, mandates that insurance providers exclusively communicate with the teen patient, not the policyholder, who in this case would be the parent, although they still have to pay for it. But now there's this new law that went into effect 11 days ago that mandates all new health plans have to cover gender-affirming care, including cosmetic surgeries that previously were denied. So now in totality, the treatment for these kids can include everything from puberty blockers to speech therapy, but potentially, obviously, tracheal shaves, so-called top surgery where the breast tissue is removed, and then various genital surgeries. And none of this has to be approved by the parent.
So yes, it seems like lunacy is happening in Washington by a great margin and many other places across our great country. But it seems that when you try to debate somebody or try to ask simple questions, it seems that most of the Democrats can't answer them, or they simply decide to run away from the debate, like Katie Hobbs. Now, I don't know about you guys, but normally when somebody asks me a yes or no question, and only wants it to be a yes or no question, I'll just say yes or no. Unfortunately, that ends up happening not being the case with this woman, with Marie Perez, considering the fact that she can't answer the yes or no question, as many Democrats apparently cannot do. It's kind of like kryptonite to them. It really makes them shudder and cringe away. You'll see that right now as you see this clip where she can't answer the simple questions. Take a look.
If you support gender-affirming care and abortion up to 38 weeks. It's a simple yes or no. Will you answer the people of the 3rd District tonight if you support abortion up to 38 weeks and gender-affirming care for minors under the age of 18?
So, I mean, the definition of gender...
It's a yes or no question.
That is a nuanced question.
Do you support gender-affirming care for children under the age of 18? Yes or no?
You've asked the question, let's let her answer it.
I need to know what you mean by that.
For puberty blockers, sterilization?
That is the choice of a family to make.
Yes.
It's not the role of the government.
You support it, yes or no?
If it's what the family believes in, the government should not be in everyone's life for every issue.
Do you support biological males competing in biological female sports?
I think that is it's complicated. It depends. When do they transition? What are their hormone levels? I mean, when you really look at athletes have all different natural hormone levels. So it is a nuanced question.
So yes, you do support that?
It depends on the scenario.
But we're faced with situations where it's either a yes or no. Either the biological male competes or the biological male does not compete with women. And so we have to make that decision.
Yeah, I don't think you're understanding the nuance of these issues.
No, lady, I don't think you're understanding the question at all, or you just don't. I don't think you understand pretty much anything. I think the people there have pretty much mostly spoken, and I think a lot of those people don't really agree with your type of agenda. This is what I'm talking about with Democrats, and the reason why it's so hard to just try to vote for Democrats that are not actively that are Democrats, right? Because here's the thing: when you're a Democrat, you normally when people think when you say Democrat or Republican, they think of one side of thing, right? Whether you're this or that. And the problem that I have, which I think was a lot of people, and I try my best to avoid this, right? To make my best decision possible. And the problem that I have is that Democrats always usually try to have this type of always with the transgender and mutilation or whatever, or trans surgery with kids, and I don't agree with that at all. And I agree. I don't agree with it to such extent that even if you have good policies, but you agree with that, I most likely won't vote for you. We could talk about the abortion thing or whatever, and maybe I'll even let that slide potentially. But when you go down to kids and stuff like that, that's when I really, really, really do not deal with it. And two of those big things are major deal breakers. If you want to kill children and have it be okay, or you want to mutilate children and think that's okay, that's a massive problem to me, and we know it. And here's the biggest thing about this as well. When she stutters or does stuff like this, is that mostly probably throughout the interview, she's most likely going through and thinking, oh, okay, I'm getting railed on this one, and they don't seem to be agreeing with my views, but I have to stutter to try to say, like, oh, I don't agree with it, but whatever. But we do know that when you go into office, and the people, and I'll show you an actual report of this, showing this is true, that we do know when you get into office, you will allow that type of stuff to be legal and okay in your state. So, by not answering the correct questions, or not saying the yes or no, and people actively saying, and the women, mind you, saying yes or no, and you can't answer that, they're getting fed up, they're getting angry about it. And we know that you would put those laws in the place that you would say would agree upon. Hence, why this is happening, ladies and gentlemen, and it is hilarious. Kent is clearly favored to win Washington's 3rd District. Joe Kent wins. 98 out in 100, ladies and gentlemen. Marie Perez, only has 2 in 100. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. It is bloody amazing. This is the will of the people, right? This is the reason why I think when people say, oh, the politicians may put things into place to where, oh, well, kids are this or kids are that, and they may allow kids to do this. But the people will go full on Mother Bear or fucking Father Bear and completely destroy you in every sense way possible when it comes down to their kids, because most people will not allow it, and this is showing it. Listen, the Democrats made a grave error when they started talking about kids. So when you start talking about kids and doing this type of stuff to them, a lot of them are not going to do, or a lot of normal people, human beings, are not going to favor for this type of stuff. And you made that grave mistake, Perez. And by the way, I'm glad that you lost. Look at that. It's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely beautiful. My God, it's just destruction across the board. My word, how the forecast has changed. And it's like, look at that. Well, the chances of winning the seat, and then the chances of the popular vote, even still, like, it's not good. He is obviously winning. She is at a massive disadvantage, and I don't even think we even see a remote chance of her coming to the Senate. My God, it is glorious, ladies and gentlemen, absolute glorious. And this is true facts. When you go after kids, people will rile up, and when you can't answer yes or no questions, then yeah. And of course, I think these people just don't seem to understand the their craziness, their crazy ideologies. Oh man, it's beautiful. Well guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. Glories in the great victory that we do have, at least current today in Washington, because they're definitely not getting a Democratic Senate person in place, because that's being taken over by Joe Kent. Alright guys, that's it. Alright guys, hope you liked the video. Take care.